Right now, you're not leading. You're just responding to whatever shows up in front of you. You snap back in meetings. You shut down when things don't go your way. You go home drained because the whole day felt like you were just putting out fires. And if you're honest, it feels like everything around you is in control and not you. I've been there, having led teams of hundreds at times in my career, which was a privilege and an honor. But I've had times where I've reacted. I checked out. I stopped caring. When things got hard, I let life and the job dictate who I was going to be. Well, in this episode, we're going to break down the difference between reacting and responding. How reacting quietly costs you control, credibility, and confidence. You'll learn how to build a simple pause, think, and decide framework so you can lead on purpose, not by default. When you react as a leader, you can unintentionally damage trust in a single moment. You know, I work with a project manager, let's call her Jane for this purpose, doing a large system implementation at an organization I worked at. It was a big project and it was a lot of pressure, a lot of moving parts. And we're in a meeting and someone starts questioning how the project is going. In fact, they brought through a few comments that referred to the fact that maybe it wasn't going as well as it should have. And in that moment, Jane reacts. She raises her voice, she gets defensive, she throws out a few curse words, and it shuts the conversation down. I remember sitting there for a few seconds just thinking, And just like that, the room was changed because of her outburst. People stopped talking, people got quiet, people started choosing their words very carefully. Not because the issue was resolved, but because now they're managing her reaction. Here's the reality. When you react as a leader, you can disenfranchise yourself without even realizing it. You lose the room. You erode trust. And people stop bringing you the truth. And once that happens, your leadership gets weaker, not stronger. Because now people are responding to your emotions instead of engaging your leadership. You know, it's like the difference between a lightning bulb and light bulb. Think about it. When people say they need light, if you threw a lightning bolt, what would happen? Destruction. But if people say they need light and you bring a light bulb and you're even conscious about making sure you frame the light bulb and position it exactly where they need it, how much more helpful is that? Here's the challenge for you. For just a second, think of the last time you reacted. And you know, you may have even overreacted, but just give it some thought. Now let's talk about why this happens. And I want you to hold on to that moment as we go through the rest of this. Most leaders think reacting is a personality issue. It's not. It's biology. You don't react because you're a bad leader. You react because your body is trying to protect you. There have been moments as recently as last week where I have felt the same thing. I want to make a decision now. I want results now, etc. And if I'm really honest, today I know when I am feeling it. But years ago, I didn't. And I made some mistakes. But here is what is actually happening. Your brain detects a threat, real or perceived. It could be someone challenging you, pressure in a meeting, feeling disrespected. And your amygdala, your survival center, kicks in immediately. It floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol. And now you're in fight or flight mode. Fight, you snap. You push back, you dominate. Flight, you shut down. You avoid. You disengage. You no longer make eye contact and all those things. And here's the key. This happens in milliseconds. I mean, literally milliseconds, faster than your thinking brain can catch up. But here is what I've learned. Your first reaction is often not leadership. It's biology. But leadership shows up in what you do next. Can you interrupt that reaction long enough to choose your response? Because the best leaders don't eliminate that feeling. They learn how to pause inside of it. Yes, that's it. Pause. P-A-U-S-E. And count to 5 and spell it out if you need to. P-A-U-S-E. Here's another tip. Grab underneath your chair if you need to. Push your heels into the floor if you want to. It releases the extra energy in your body. In fact, If you notice, if you're ever backstage with a professional speaker, it's one of the things that many of them will do. Professional speakers, before they get on stage, will sit in the chair and push their heels down to the floor. You may not even notice because it's such a small thing, but that pushing down, flexing the quadriceps, etc., helps get some of that overload of nervous energy out of your body. So when you respond, it's different. Let me give you a very different example. When I started at J.P. Morgan Chase in 2000, I walked in on my first day. My manager wasn't there to introduce me. I was excited. I was a vice president for the first time in a company like Chase it was then before the Morgan merger. I had to introduce myself to the team when I entered the floor. I met a young lady who walked me to what was supposed to be my office, and then she opened the door and she paused and covered her mouth for a second, and she had to remind herself and then tell me it had become a storage room and no one had cleaned it out. I mean, it was not prepared at all. Nothing. Now, in that moment, I could have reacted. I could have said, I'm a new vice president here. Show me some respect. Get this room clean, etc. Nope. I paused and I thought about my reaction. I could have taken it personally. I could have said something. I could have let that set the tone, but I did not. I said, okay. And I found another place to sit and just collect myself. And here's what's important. I didn't respond with words at all. I responded with actions over time. I started paying attention to the environment. The carpets were torn. The walls needed paint. The lighting was dim. The lights were flickering. And I made a decision. If I'm going to lead here, I'm going to make this place better. Not by reacting in a moment, but by responding with intention. Along the course of things I did, one thing I did was very simple. It's called the thought of the day. I used to get on the Amtrak train at 5:14 every morning from Penn Station to Philadelphia to arrive in New York roughly around 7 o'clock. And I created the thought of the day. It was a thing I did to create space for conversation, connection, and reflection. I'd email it out to the team every morning. And over time, the environment changed. Not because I reacted, but because I chose how I was going to lead. Responding is not about the moment. It's about the pattern you create after the moment. Anyone can react in a second, but leaders respond in a way that builds trust over time. So here's how you're going to start doing this immediately. 1, recognize the moment. When you feel that surge, that's your signal. 2, create space. Pause, breathe, slow it down. P.A.U.S.E. Choose your response. Ask, what do I want to be right now? And then 4, think beyond the moment. Don't just respond to the situation. Respond for the outcome you want over time. Because leadership isn't built in the moment. It's built in your pattern of response. You don't control every situation, but you always control your response. And that response is where your leadership lives.